Today we're going to be looking at what death row looks like around the world. Now, people have a lot of mixed emotions on death sentences, but as far as I'm concerned, it's pretty necessary. Like, some of these people do some unspeakable things. Without any further ado, let's get right into the video.
This may shock you. 55 countries around the world still practice the death penalty.
I mean, that doesn't really shock me. Like, it gets to a point where your ass got to be killed. I mean, we talking about baby killers, child. Like, we're not finna just sit back and let you think you're in a first-person shooter game.
Dramatically different. From Japan's death row that drives inmates insane, to Saudi Arabia's death row that has a dark, evil twist.
Okay.
The first country we have to look at is the USA. The USA hands out
It's the
many death
electric
sentences per year, but surprisingly, it's not even in the top 10. Around 20 people are sentenced to death row
Only 20 people a year? Maybe that's why there's so much crime here. It's because people aren't fearing death enough.
every year in the USA. In many states, death row is illegal, and some states don't practice it despite never actually outlawing it. But
Okay.
these 11 states do actively carry
I gotta start being careful. In all seriousness though, these should all be read. Like, come on, what are we doing?
death sentences. Inmates will get these sentences for various crimes.
Y'all should kill his ass just for this haircut. This haircut alone deserves a life sentence.
Most commonly homicide-related crimes, but also espionage, treason, as well as extreme cases of narcotics trafficking. USA death penalty methods vary state by state, but there are 5 methods used in the USA. These are
5
lethal
methods.
injection,
Yo, I thought it was just the chair.
chair, firing squad, gas chamber, and gas asphyxiation. But what actually happens to an inmate on death row in the USA?
The fuck is he looking at? I can't save you, bro. I'm just here to watch. You should have been helping your son get into college instead of helping yourself tattoo your face, beat your wife every day, probably.
Happens to an inmate on death row in the USA. 24 hours before they will be taken from their cells and moved to what is cheerfully known as the death house. As they
They got a whole separate house for killing people? Don't you think that's doing a little too much? Just give them their last meal and then shoot them or some shit.
This will be the last time the inmate will ever be outside. They will then be given a full body search and given new clothing. They will then be taken to their new and last cell, known as the Death Watch cell.
Damn.
There, the inmate will spend their final night. Some inmates choose to sleep, but
Yeah,
others
no,
can't.
I would not sleep. I'd probably be trying to goon one last time or some shit. I'm just joking. Alright, look, that's actually terrifying. Going to sleep knowing that you're gonna die when you wake up.
At the 15-hour mark, they will be woken up. They will then shower and be given a regular prison breakfast. At the 14-hour mark, they will be allowed to see their friends and family for one last time.
Damn.
They will also get 45 minutes
Well,
to
that's
make any
deep.
final phone calls. At the 12-hour mark, all visitations will be cut off. The inmate will then be given a regular prison lunch.
What the f is that? I'd want to die quicker if they fed me that shit. But yeah, those guards really like let you see your family for an hour after that. They gotta go. You about to die.
And are then allowed to see a priest or imam. Inmates carry many regrets
Okay.
and secrets.
Alright, that's kind of a W on the US part right there.
One last chance to confess and have a clear mind. At the 8-hour mark, the inmate will be allowed to see their last sunset. The inmate will then be allowed to write letters for 1 hour, writing their final goodbyes to friends and family. At the 6-hour
What the
mark,
hell?
the inmate will order their last meal. Despite what many think, they can't order whatever they want, instead having to stick to a $30 budget, which
That sounds about right. I mean, you gotta remember that these are still killers. They did something so atrocious that it landed them in life sentence or death sentence in the first place.
These prices isn't that much. If the inmates are being executed with an electric chair,
Oh,
they will
shit.
then have their heads shaved. This is to prevent their hair catching on fire. The inmate will then take their last ever shower, and then eat their last meal. At the 3-hour mark, witnesses arrive. These are the people who are going to watch the execution happen.
What?
They're normally relatives of the victim,
Huh?
but sometimes the inmate's family comes too. At the 1-hour
What?
mark,
Why would you want to watch your family member die? Like, you gonna be standing right here watching your son or sibling or whatever the fuck die. That's some sick in the head shit right there.
the inmate will be walked to what's known as the death chamber, escorted by a team of 5 guards. The inmate will then be strapped to a chair or bed.
I'd be shitting myself at this very moment right here.
12-minute mark, the witnesses will be moved into the watching room. The curtains will then be undrawn. The window is one way, meaning the inmate
Oh.
never sees the people watching him. At the 10-minute mark, the inmate gets to say their last words. The inmate will then get one
What would be going through your guys' mind in this situation right here? I mean, they got him laid out like he going to heaven or something, but he going straight to... And this priest ain't doing shit. Like at the end of the day, you're still going to hell.
Visit from a priest or imam if they wish, and after that, the execution will take place. There are currently 2,500 people on death row in the United States. It often takes decades for these executions to be carried out, because inmates are entitled to many appeals. But it wasn't always like this. The USA once executed a 14-year-old boy. George Steiny was accused of taking 2 girls' lives. He was too small to sit on the electric chair, so had to sit on top of a Bible. But since 2005,
that's actually fucked up. They couldn't get his little ass a booster seat or something. They had to make him sit on the Bible. This shit definitely got to do with like skin color, because why are we giving death sentences to 14-year-olds? They should have sent him to juvenile or something.
But since 2005, you now need to be over 18 to be given a death sentence in the USA.
Only since 2005?
America's death row may sound harsh, but I can assure you it's nothing compared to Saudi Arabia's. Every year, Saudi Arabia ends many people's lives, with an average of over 185 executions.
See, now that's a big jump from 20 per year to 185. Maybe that's why Saudi Arabia looks so like figured out as a society. The country looks clean and stuff because the criminals actually got something to fear.
In Saudi Arabia, people get death sentences for minor crimes, including burglary, treason, espionage, and narcotics. But you can also be given a death sentence for leaving Islam.
That sounds a little extreme. Coming from a Muslim. Not a very good one, but still a Muslim.
As well as cheating on your wife or husband, or having a same-gender relationship. You can even be given a death sentence for witchcraft. Saudi Arabia has 3 execution methods, and they're all wild. The first is firing squad.
Damn, they do not play in Saudi Arabia. Look at how these dudes are skied up, holding the guy that's about to get shot down. I wonder what's running through this guy's mind right now.
The second is stoning. This is where someone is buried up to their head in sand.
Stoning?
Stones are then thrown at them until they lose their life. And the most common method is beheading.
Beheading? Man, wait. I thought we left beheading in the 1700s. Yo, the US actually has mercy. Oh, hell no. And stoning too? Like, this one gotta be worse than getting beheaded, because you're actually alive. You feel it. You're actually alive. Am I a dumbass? Sorry, look. You feel the rocks hitting you. That shit hurts. And to think that all this could happen from just kissing the guy. Like, what if that shit happens on accident?
Beheading. This is done using a scimitar, a large curved sword. Afterwards, bodies are often put on public display to scare everyone else.
Oh, nah. That's a little extreme. Why you gotta put it up on display? Why couldn't you just, feel me, like, closed coffin, it's over with?
Saudi Arabia dish out executions very fast, but while they wait, they're normally kept in this prison, named Al Hayr Prison. Inmates are often kept in isolation cells, and are subjected to physical and psychological hell.
What could this holy ass looking dude have done? I mean, come on, he looked like he feeds pigeons on the side of the road. Also look like he got a fine ass daughter too.
Inmates are often not allowed to contact their families. Executions normally happen within the same year someone is sentenced to death row. Another country with a surprisingly nasty death row is Japan. Aside from the USA, Japan is the only democratic
Japan is too polite and too nice
country that still has death row, with an average of 5 executions per year.
5 executions? That don't sound like a lot, but at the same time, like, they got less of a population, so like, you gotta like put that into proportions, like.
There are only 3 crimes you can commit to get the death penalty: homicide, treason, and crimes against the state. Normally, you need to end multiple lives to be sentenced to death row. In most countries, inmates on death row.
What is this jolly ass prison right here? This looks like a school hallway. I told you, everything in Japan just looks well civilized. Look at this shit. This is what I see on my way to 3rd block.
In most countries, inmates on death row are told when they're going to lose their lives far in advance, but not in Japan. Instead, inmates are only told 1 or 2 hours before the execution, meaning that they have no idea when will be their last day on Earth. It could be years from now, or it could be in 2 hours.
Damn, so you could just be in the middle of getting your cheeks clapped by your overly touchy and muscular cellmate, and then have a guard bust in like, you getting killed after you're done getting railed.
Inmates go insane. To make matters worse, the inmate's family is only told after they've been executed, meaning that they have no chance to say goodbye. While the inmates are
in the US, they let them write a whole goddamn notebook full of letters, and in Japan, they only let your family know after you're dead. What are you supposed to tell them then?
Death row, they're kept in very strict prisons, said to be the strictest in the world. They're told exactly how to sit in their cells. They have to always look down at the floor and can never look up. They're also also not allowed to speak.
I can't see this shit happening in Japan. They're too nice for all this. Japan's just the W country overall, man. From anime to adult content, like I'm just joking.
Spoken to, and they have to work for over 13 hours per day. But a country with an even worse death row is China. China executes the most people per year, averaging at over 1,000 executions.
I mean, like again, like with the proportions, like they got a bigger population, so it makes sense why they kill more people, you know what I'm saying?
Every year. In China, you can be given the death penalty for many crimes, including serious fraud, bombing, flooding, rioting, separatism, rebellion, political dissent, subversion, sneaking people into China, piracy, corruption, aircraft hijacking, espionage, abandoning the military, endangering national security, and many other crimes. In China, no matter—
Bro, what the— it just kept going. I guess when your population is that big, like, it's a lot of bullshit people do. But piracy? You got people in China playing Sea of Thieves in real life.
In China, no matter how rich or powerful you are, you can be given a death sentence. In 2022, high-up politician Fu Zhuangha was sentenced to death row after taking nearly $17 million in bribes.
Damn! Sounds to me like he was just getting his bread up. Who cares if he hit a lick on, like, orphanages? Like, at the end of the day, that's not an easy task.
And in 2014, billionaire businessman Liu Han was also given a death sentence.
Billionaire.
Being executed 1 year later in 2015.
Bro, that's just a waste. What does your dumbass have to do as a billionaire to get a death sentence? Like, you're set for life at that point, or at least he thought.
These executions are carried out using either a firing squad or lethal injection. While in
big ups to China though for still killing people regardless of their financial worth.
Execution dates, they will be in a Chinese prison, which are known for their very harsh conditions. Inmates sometimes have to work for 16 hours per day. They will also have their heads shaved and have to look down at the ground.
Imagine having to live your last moments on Earth chopped. Like, my hair is my whole personality. I look like a fucking cue ball without it. You can scroll back a couple videos to see what I look like with a buzz cut. That was a dark time in my life.
At all times. But a country with even worse death row conditions is Somalia. Somalia is known as one of the most dangerous countries in the world. It is the only African country that—
what is Abdul gonna do, bro? Look at him. Look at his dumb little face.
It is the only African country that carries out public executions. These are done either by hanging, firing squad, or stoning.
You could watch people get Swiss cheese in Somalia. Here's a better idea. How about you kill all the people that come to watch too? Why would you want to selectively watch that? I don't get it. I mean, unless it's like the victim's family member or something. Actually, that doesn't sound so bad.
Somalia executes an average of 13 people per year. These sentences are given out for homicide, treason, espionage, and abandoning the military. But you can also get a death sentence for leaving Islam.
Islam again. Is it a little extreme? Yes, but at the same time, it's an Islamic country, so they gotta, you feel me, maintain that. I feel like I just get dumber every time I speak.
Leaving Islam, blasphemy, cheating on your husband or wife, and having a same-gender relationship. While inmates await their execution date, they will be kept in one of Somalia's worst jails, which are known to be very overcrowded.
What they all look hella happy for? Like, buddy, you're about to get gunned down and have the victim's dad emote on you. I will not be laughing.
Overcrowded and dirty. Death row inmates are normally sent to Mandera prison, said to be Somalia's worst prison. But some would say death row in Belarus is even worse. Belarus is the only—
Belarus? The fuck is that? Never heard of that.
To still use capital punishment. You can be sent to death row for crimes such as treason, sabotage, and conspiracy to seize power. This is because Belarus is Europe's last dictatorship. While inmates wait execution, they will be sent to Belarus's worst prison, which is famous for housing political prisoners.
You must have done some crazy ass shit for them to have you Naruto running. They really made your ass do a chicken emote. What is this?
Belarus executes an average of 2 people per year, but a country known for executing far more people is Indonesia. In 2005, Indonesia hit the headlines. This was after 9 Australians were arrested. They were attempting to smuggle narcotics. 6 of them were sentenced to life in prison.
Why would you try to sneak drugs into Indonesia when you could just get high in Australia and no one would care?
2 were sent to death row, and in 2015 were executed by firing squad. This caused massive outrage, but many executions still take place in Indonesia, normally for narcotics and piracy.
Again with these pirates, like, get a job. You should be providing for your family instead of trying to be a pirate.
Another country with a surprisingly harsh death row is India. In India, you can be sent to death row for homicide, narcotics, aircraft hijacking, espionage, kidnapping, abandoning the military, and even partaking in human sacrifice.
So they're just not gonna mention the street food? I wonder, like, how many people in India get poisoned or food poisoning from that street food? Like, when you got an old man digging his fingers into your soup, like, you're obviously gonna get food food poisoning.
India gave out 120 death sentences. These are always done by either hanging or firing squad. Death row inmates are kept in awful prisons. Indian prisons are famous for overcrowding, having over 25 million backlog
Why is India so like set back? We're in the big 25 and they're living like they're still in the 1900s. Like if the prison is small, build a bigger one. What are y'all doing?
cases. The cells are very crowded, dark and dirty, and inmates are only told their execution date
Well, I can tell you what these guys did right here.
are only told their execution date a few days before.
I gotta stop being racist. Stop the India hate.
But one country you won't be surprised has a terrible death row is North Korea. In North Korea,
no
just
surprise
about
there.
anything can land you on death row. This includes plots against the nation, working with enemy countries,
Do they even know what nation means? Like nothing is in or out of there. No information.
harmful information, political dissidents, visiting foreign websites, watching foreign movies or TV shows, listening to foreign radio, inappropriate words,
You could get killed for swearing. Our generation would be cooked in North Korea.
international phone calls, watching adult material, and returning to North
Again, our generation would be cooked in North Korea.
Korea after defecting. Many high-up North Korean officials have been given a death sentence, including Kim Jong-un's own uncle. The methods used are firing
Bro, he killed his
squad,
own uncle.
hanging, beheading, and even being shot with a missile. Some of
Isn't that doing too much? Like I guarantee you the most that person did was probably look at Kim Jong-un weird.
actions are done in public. In 2022, a 22-year-old man was publicly executed for listening to K-pop. While North Korean inmates are on death row, they are sent to a labor camp.
That has got to be the saddest way of dying. North Korea, South Korea, same shit. Y'all speak the same language. Why would you kill him for that?
While North Korean inmates are on death row, they are sent to a labor camp. This is where they have to do
Labor camp. Kim Jong-un's no different from Hitler.
backpacking work for sometimes 20 hours per day. Many lose their lives in these camps.
20 hours a day. That's 20 hours of working. Which leaves 4 hours of sleeping. See, what I do right here is I'd get my homie to drop this fucking log on my head so I could die quicker. So you got me fucked all the way up.
Camps. But if they survive, they will later be executed by the guards. And to make
Oh,
matters
hell no.
worse, their entire family will be sent to the camps as well. This is to ensure no one ever
Yo, what if, let's say, my sped brother looks at him weird? Then they gonna make my ass work 20 hours a day too. North Korea, I'll pray for y'all.
tries to take power from Kim Jong-un. North Korea executes an average of 150 people per year.
Damn.
Another country
Y'all are already going extinct, right? Like, chill.
famous for its death row is Egypt. Egypt executes an average of 30 people per year. This is done
Okay.
by either firing squad or
Yo, all these guys look like terrorists.
hanging. While they wait for their last day, people on death row in Egypt are sent to very bad prisons, known for overcrowding and harsh conditions. Their death row is the United Arab Emirates. This surprises many people as it's a popular tourist destination.
where Dubai
But
is.
beyond the glitz and glamour of Dubai are some truly awful prisons. This is where death row inmates are kept.
Whoa, who is he up in the blick at like that?
Inmates are kept. You can be given a death sentence for various crimes, including the disposal of nuclear waste and leaving Islam. Executions are carried out by firing squad. Which of these death rows do you think was the worst?
That's a great question. Which one do y'all think was the worst? I think that it can't get worse than getting stoned or beheaded. So probably Saudi Arabia. That shit was straight off the bat too. Like it didn't even work up to it or anything. Like they could at least say that shit for last. Interesting video though. Leave a like if y'all enjoyed. Yes, to my 20 subscribers. Yeah, boy, I'm on my shit now. But yeah, man, until next time.